Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And as you can see, it's the holiday season and everybody's in the frame. I'm so excited. I'm here with my business partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. And I'm here with Coach Karen because on Wednesdays, that's what we do. We do our money mindset coach, and we're excited to have her. Coach, we want to give a shout out to everybody watching on the replay, and we want to say Merry Christmas to everyone because I don't want to forget before we sign off. So with that, we never hear from Fran. Fran, what you do you have something you want to say to our audience?
I don't get often a chance to hear Karen as much as I used to because of other duties, but I was like, I'm excited to hear about planning for 2021 because we talked about it a little bit, working on getting financial stuff in order. And yeah, we need to hear. We really need to hear about it.
So, Coach Karen, you're on.
All right.
We're going to do this. Make sure you are properly trained, and we're going to do it.
Ladies. Well, all this month we've been talking about planning, and we started off this month right into December 2nd. We talked about money planning for 2021. Then we touched a little bit on who are you in your business, and you need to know this for sure. You need to know where you stand, and you need to know where you're going. So we talked about that on the 9th, and then on the 16th we talk about how much money you want to make. And today we're talking about, are you ready for the new year? So we talk about all those things, and the question today is, are you ready for the new year? Were you putting in place the things we talk about weekly? Did you get everything set up? If you didn't, you still have time. Enjoy your family, but when you're off, if you're taking some time off, please set aside some time. And even if you don't have a lot of time off, Christmas is Friday, you got a weekend. I know it's Boxing Day. There's nowhere you're going shopping. So sit your butt down and get to planning, spread it out, get pieces of paper, spread everything out, look at the big picture, and get it ready for the new year. One of the big things you really have to remember before I dive into everything is knowing where you sit in your business, knowing at what level you're at. Never mind anybody else, just you. If you're at the beginning, you're at the beginning. If you are starting over, you are at the beginning. Now you're coming with experience and you've learned some things, but maybe not in the way that is profitable to you. You know, I talked to a client yesterday because usually Friday is my coaching days now. And I said to her, you're starting over. So you have to understand where your leads come from. That's like a big one for most people. They're not sure where their leads come from. They're just looking at the money that came in, but you got to know where it come from so you can keep going back to that, so that once anything fall down, whatever falls down, you've got a place to go back to get to where you want to be. So today we're going to look at three things. We're going to talk about what are you doing to get ready, and do you know how to put into practice what you plan for? And what are the feelings that you're looking for once you get this plan finished? You know, it's great to plan. I love setting goals, but some people get paralyzed once the big picture is in front of them. They do nothing else. They're like, okay, well, I plan it. I set a goal. Now it's the action part. This is sometimes harder for people than the planning out and having it in front of them. And I found out that if I wasn't doing physical things, that was one of my weak spots. And so I had to go in and ask myself why. And what kind of fear was surrounding me not taking action in the plan that I set out? It's in front of me. Why am I not taking action? I went through, was I afraid? What was I afraid of? And, the hard part was just admitting the success that the big picture presented to me. And it took me a while to work through that processes. And if that's for you, you want to really spend time working through whatever that fear is, whatever you worried about. It could be that you think you can't accomplish it. You think you don't have the skills for it. You think that you're dreaming way too big. But once you put everything down and answer the question, because I really want you to answer the question, you'll see that it's not too big for you. If you got to dream it, you can do it. Alrighty. So that's what we're looking at today. So what are you doing to get ready? What are you doing to get ready?
Okay, so do you want us to answer this question?
Yes, I'm going to let you guys answer. What are you doing to get ready?
Okay, because this actually, although I haven't been there, I must have been flowing with you all week because I've been digging around and talking to the tax guy, setting up. I got to make a few more phone calls for bookkeeping, making more phone calls for getting things in order, just financially, insurance, just different things, because like you just said about knowing where you are in your business. Well, if I'm going to get to the next level, I need to put some things in place to protect the assets.
Exactly.
So I'm like, wait. And then maybe it's a good thing that you don't grow real big, real fast, because you need to put some buffers or some things in order.
Yeah.
So that when you get there, nobody's trying to steal it all from you.
Exactly.
Because you didn't plan it properly. So that's what I've been doing. And part of that is, okay, where am I in this business? Okay, what do I need to do? If I'm bringing other people on, I definitely need to have some coverage. So, and one of the things I learned is you can't do this by yourself. We think solopreneur means I'm going to do it all by myself and I'm going to do every little thing in the business.
Yes.
But that's not true. Because you got to hire people to do stuff. I found out, and we talked about this before, I have to work with people and help develop them, because I can't go show houses every day of the week, 5 or 6 clients at a time.
Exactly.
I got help to do that. So I was like, okay, I got stuff to do. Let me think about it. I'm not doing 21 like I did 20.
Right.
Okay. And that's good, because Sacramento is supposed to be one of the hottest markets in the country right now.
Oh yeah.
You're extremely busy for 2021. And you do need a good plan for that, Fran. You're going to need some help if you're going to be able to harvest some of that that's going to be coming in.
Right.
Because she's planting the seeds, you know. Yeah. So when harvests start coming in, sometimes it needs some subcontracting. It doesn't mean employee right away, depending on your area, you know, of where you're working. And so every time, I mean, I shouldn't be snickering, but every time somebody said to me, I just want to work alone. I don't want anybody to work with me. I don't want to worry about employees. And I'm thinking, so you don't want to learn this skill, because it's just a skill really about hiring and firing. It's just a skill set that you're learning, and it's important to learn to do. It's hard to fire anybody, but you need to learn that skill. Get somebody, you need to, when you say, I don't want to fire anybody, you need to fire somebody so you understand what that means for you, the feeling, what it takes, what happens. You need to let somebody go. That's an important skill to have.
Yeah.
Because you can have a lawyer that you need to fire eventually. You can have an accountant that you need to fire eventually. You need to understand how to fire them, the right way to fire them, so that you got your documents and things protected ahead of time and all these things. So learning to hire and fire is just a skill set. So when you're solo, you never get to do those things.
Well, the thing about hiring and firing people is that once you make a decision, it's just like saying no to too many things. You know, the ability to say no to another assignment, I'm not available for that. You feel a sense of relief.
Yes.
And now your mind is opened up and you can, you know, move on to hire people who are beneficial to your organization.
Exactly.
One of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm figuring out what I'm going to do with the surplus.
Right.
And I'm looking at ways to invest that money so that it will last longer, so that it will spread over a particular amount of time and increase my assets, because I want to leave a legacy.
Right.
I can't leave a legacy if I don't set it aside in some way, in a protected way.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that I'm looking at for 2021.
Yes, that's good. That's good. And you know, people should really be thinking about that from the beginning. One of the big things that lots of times, and I would tell my kids, I said, you know, and people I know, I'm like, you're looking for a job. Why? They're like, well, because like, no, why are you looking for a job? What do you expect to get out of the job? Don't go into the job looking for the job to replace something or just to pay you money, because you're going to be frustrated very quickly. You need to know why you're going into the job. I'm going to the job because this is going to be part of how I start building my wealth. I'm taking this job because I want a steady income. I'm taking a job because I hate to feel like I don't know where money's coming from. There's a lot of reasons why you want to take a job. And if you take it for those reasons, you need to know so you can be there 100%, and you can really fulfill for the employer what you come to do, but also for yourself, what you're going to get out of it. And it really helps you. That really turns over into when I start a business. Why am I starting a business? What is it for? You know, how is this going to help me grow as a person, financially, emotionally, mindfully? How is this business going to do all those things for me? And that's why I'm in this business. Then I get to work at, again, my 100%. No 120, no 200. It's only 100 you got. You ain't got no 100 from nowhere else. You got 100. That's it. So once you get ready, you know what you're doing. You know, next step is, are you going to put that into practice? And you literally need to put that into practice. I always talk about my friend that ran. She was one of Guyana, you know, really, this girl was so dedicated. I was just surprised that she didn't continue through. I mean, I knew why eventually she didn't continue running, but she was so dedicated. She had planned out her year. That's since in high school. And she ran whether we had races happening or not. 4 a.m, she's up and she started running from 5. She ran for an hour every single day. No exception. Set herself up. So while everybody's hustling to practice to get ready when there's races, not Deborah, she is ready to go. She's always. I said to her, are you ever worried? She goes, Karen, this is what I'm doing. So of course, when I go to run, I'm going to be number one. I'm going to be first. There's nobody could beat me. They're practicing when I'm always in it. And no lie, she's never brought anything to our school but gold. She just, if she was sick, she would say, she'd tell the teacher, she said, listen, I'm not running in the race. I'm not well. This patch is not for me. I'm not going to run. And they can't push her. Like, she's not moving. She's like, I'm not well. I'm not running because I do not want to get anything beyond gold. I don't want silver. I don't want bronze. I want gold.
All right.
I like the fact that she knew what she wanted and she wasn't going to make provisions for anything less.
You couldn't distract her. It didn't matter what it is we love to do and would try to get her with her. She would just say, listen, guys, I'm going home. I got to get my rest because, I get up early in the morning. And she's got and that's since high school, She's very dedicated to what she's going to do. And that's how we have to be. We have to put into practice all the stuff we've been planning, how much money we want, whatever we say in our budget, we got to stick to it. One of the big things I really want to touch on when we talk about money is when you first start saving money, and I know you hear it not to save. So if you listen to this on the replay, you got to save. If you don't save, you don't have money to invest. If you don't save, you don't have money to pay for the things you need to pay for. You put it on credit card and then you're in a lot of trouble. Unless that card is dedicated to being your monthly card where you buy everything from and you're going to pay it off, in 11 days, in 11 days, then that's fine because you're planning with that card. You're building your credit. You're doing whatever you need to do with that card. But otherwise, don't use the card. Don't be using the card because it's easy to go do. Do it because you got the money in your pocket and you're going to pay it. You're building wealth. We're talking about building wealth. We're talking about growing your business here. And anytime you think about growing your business, it should be hand in hand with growing your wealth. Part of growing your business is part of growing your wealth. See it hand in hand, okay? So you're planning all this stuff. In there has to be the money. In there has to be how much you're going to make. And when you don't make it, what did you do? How could you self-correct? in the budget. So going back to saving, in the budget, you set up aside for saving. Somewhere in your budget, you say saving, tithing, what have you. And you're finding it difficult to save the money. And you're wondering how I'm going to do it because other things will show up and tell you where the money should be spent. I know you hear put it aside first. I know you know it, but you actually have to do it. You actually have to be diligent. And I used to do this with people years ago that didn't have the physical money. I'll have them have either place dollar store money, or I'll have them just photocopy money. This is not anything to use as anything, it's just for yourself, where the money is there. And so it's set up and they have envelopes and they'll put the amount in the envelope as though they had the money. Because I really want them to start this habit of understanding saving. And I had somebody who was so far behind that she couldn't have the physical money to do. So I built her out something like a calendar, and all the envelopes, kids' lunch money, money for back to school clothing, money for date night, money for whatever she needed. I made her put the money, the amount that she would do with that. But most importantly, the savings and investing, I wanted her to have that category that was such a far away thing for her that she couldn't fathom that she could even do it. So by the constant doing it, when the time was right, we were able to have her actually put the money. And we started off with $2. And she said, Kara, what's the point? I'm like, the habit is so much more important. The minute you see it building, there's nothing like looking at your bank account and seeing a couple of $100, then a couple of $1,000 in there that you now can turn and invest. The reason I like them side by side is because the investment don't have to be big. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It just has to be that it's going to give you something on it, because it helps you to see the kind of investor you're going to be, the kind of person you are when something happened and you have a hiccup, if you will. So maybe you lend the money out and you expect to get back X amount of money on that money. And people say don't lend friends your money if you can't afford to lose it. But it's a really good lesson, knowing that if you lend somebody $100 and you told them they got to pay you back $120 and they couldn't pay that back to you, you can really pay attention to how you feel about it. Pay attention to that, because that's what's going to happen in the stock market or wherever you put your money. They can't give it back to you because the stock went down or something happened. It just gives you that rhythm to understand who you are. It doesn't mean that you can't put the money in the stock market. It just makes you know what kind of person you are and how you behave with money. I used to know a guy who actually, that's his job. Stock market is his job. And I know him because a friend of mine used to use my cleaning company. And I went there for inspection and met him. And he was a stock guy, a stockbroker, but he was horrible with his emotions with money. And I said, you need to get out of this business because you're not good for your clients. He said, what? I said, yeah, you're a wreck. Every time something happens, you freak out, which means you freak the people out. It wasn't for him. And he has a lot of money himself. So, finally we had the discussion. And he says, Kai, my friend said, you needed to talk to Karen. I wasn't doing this then, but he'd known me so well that he said, did the setup work? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I know you were coming. So I set him up there. I made sure he'd come by so that you could give him a chat into, because I couldn't send him to you directly, he was horrible. I'm like, you need to get out. He said, my mom said the same thing. I said, yeah, you're not a good stockbroker. Your emotions, even though you're telling me that people don't know, they feel it. They feel him.
They can see it all over his face. Like, there's no confidence there. Okay.
Or he's hiding from people. He did a lot of hiding from people. Like, you're not in charge of the stock, so why are you hiding? But it's not about the stock. It was about his emotional interaction with money, the way money was dealt with in his younger years. But he didn't understand that. No, he comes from a family that have money, but maybe because they had a hard time obtaining it, the behaviors affect him really badly. So anything to do with money causes him panic, freaks him out. And he thought getting into the brokerage would help him, but it couldn't because he didn't deal with the feeling yet.
No.
So he couldn't, deliver. So anywho, putting things
So
into
we may have
practice.
to fire our broker too. So, okay. Get ready,
Yeah.
people.
That's the thing, right? You never know who you need to let go of. You never know what skill you need to use. A girl was talking in my cleaning group, and she's like, I have to let go of these people. What should I do? And we're all like, how do you mean, what do you should? Just let them go. Like, there's not a discussion. You, you smell stuff that shouldn't be in the car. Why are you coming to the group? Like, why are they still working for you?
Why is this even a question?
Right? We all were like, why? Because I'm afraid I would have any workers. You can't run a business like that. And
Wow.
if you're working unfair, and I'll lead right into fair, please, 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 please. I understand the fair don't necessarily go anywhere, but you got to park it so that you can do good in your business, so you can do good in this planning that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Now, Cecilia said this regarding the runner. She said, wow, that's dedication. Yeah, it is dedication, Cecilia. Yes, and Cecilia is sharing. I love Cecilia for sharing.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Nicole's watching from Chicago.
Hi, Nicole.
Nicole makes dazzle bands, which is jewelry.
Okay.
And so she's running a very successful business in Chicago, and she is also an educator. So when our hat is off to you, Nicole, being on the front lines of all of these things that are happening, and continue to help educate generations. So thank you for that. But yes, so we may have to fire some people. I think too, one of the things that I want to ask you about is, when we're planning for next year, what are some of the things we should consider in our budget that we don't normally consider?
Emergency fund in your budget for business. We don't really talk about that, but you should have some of those, which we call cash flow. But it's separate from cash flow. Emergency fund. There is this girl was talking about it. You could be using your computer like this, and it could just go poof. And you didn't have any emergency fund set aside. And this is what will make you your money. You're gonna run out and buy the quickest computer. You're gonna hurry up and buy the cheapest computer because that's what you have. But when you have funds set aside in your business budget, you're able to go in and have it dedicated. The other thing is, when you're planning, just like when you're starting a business, you set aside money to buy a computer, sewing machine, a printer, whatever it is. When you buy those things, I want you to date them. I want you to put the date down. The warranty is for a reason. So this is a 3-year. In 3 years, you need to buy back the printer or the computer, whatever that time is. Whatever extended warranty they're telling you about, that's the time. So you need to spend that 3 years, that 2 years, whatever it is, saving for the next one. Now, it might not leave you at that time, but just the idea that you have the money for it, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to say this. It lasts longer. I swear it lasts longer. You have it set aside to buy a machine. I remember when I was saving for a machine, and I had an old machine would give me so much problems. The minute I start saving for the new machine, what do you know? The machine is working like crazy.
Oh, it got threatened. Maybe the machine felt threatened. Like, oh, she's getting ready to replace me. Let me.
So have those things set aside. Like, if you right now don't know what everything costs in your business because over time you didn't, go around, look and see what's old, what's been used for a while. See what's okay. And start a fund for them. I like to fund things that I'm going to purchase. And that's personal to business. Like the Christmas list gets out by August, September, it's done. And I start funding the Christmas budget because I've got my cap on people's gift. I decided what they're going to get. I know what I want to give them. And so I am setting aside X amount of dollars to spend within that wheelhouse. So I don't really get crazy on what else happening. Once that budget is set, yes, it's sort of in stone by October. And then the Christmas gifts get bought and I'm ready to go. And you want to do those same things for your business. So this planning should be in, as I said, in quarters. So You know where you want to buy the first quarter. You know where you want to buy the second quarter, the third and fourth, and all the way like that. So you got the funds to suit it, just like you know what you're going to do. So for the planning, if you have no business or you have business but it's slow down, your first quarter should be about lead generation. All what you're going to do to lead people into buying from you. And then the next quarter might be nurturing the lead. And then the third might be selling to them. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like you're not going to sell in between all those spots and you're not going to make money. That's not what I'm saying. So you got to hear me on this. You're going to make money all along the way. But don't get distracted with making a few dollars here and there with what season you're in. So if you're in lead gen, for me, even if I get a coaching client or two and I'm doing lead gen, I take my clients, but I'm still focusing on building that email list. I'm still focusing on whatever was set up for the freebie. I'm still focusing on the journey that I'm taking the client through, which is email sequence, which is probably a giveaway, invite a challenge, all those things I'm still doing because I'm in lead generation mood. Once I get you there and I'm doing the nurturing, then I'm in that mood. That's what I'm doing. I still will make money, but I am focusing on what season I'm in. Then I might be launching something, so that's leading me up to the launch. A lot of people tell you 2-3 days I launched something. They were preparing, they were planning to launch this thing. And so they were doing all the activities that to the naked eye, it might not even seem like it's a funnel was going on unless you're paying close attention. But there's some sort of funnel was happening leading up to the launch.
Gotcha. Well, we're almost at the top of the half hour. So could you give us a quick summary of what we're talking about in terms of planning?
Yes. Right. So all month we talk about planning and we talk about getting ready for the new year and understanding your big plan out quarterly, what you want to accomplish. When you understand what you want to accomplish quarterly with seasonally and that sort of stuff, it really gives you this big canvas to see month by month, week by week, and day by day. I often say to people, your business is your job. You got to go to work every single day, doing the things you got to do your job. And when it's planned out and in front of you, you get to do them. You could do at the end of the month a quick sweep of where you plan for the year, but you definitely don't want to confuse yourself and have everything in your face. If you're a person that can't handle it, just bring up the month and work there, but still check in on what's need to be done overall. And we cover what are you doing to get ready. So these are all the things I'm telling you about, to getting you ready, to have them in front of you to do. And then putting them into practice. Just, here's a little thing. You're off for the holidays, let's say, and you had an idea that you want to get up early in January. Start practicing right now during the holidays. Like get up an extra hour early or half an hour just to practice what you're going to do for the new year. If you work from home, like I come into your office and look around and envision yourself in what you could have been doing. That's part of your practicing until you're ready to do it. You don't have to go do it, but just come in the office and look around and decide what you're going to do, right? And then pay attention to the feeling and how it makes you feel. Feeling is important. Even though we kind of say we can't sell it or discount it, it's so important because if you're coming in feeling bugged down or irritated or frustrated, you're not very productive. You spend a lot of time scrolling and doing nothingness. So pay attention to the feeling and what's causing it and self-correct. Don't bash yourself. Don't talk down to you. Get your mind into the praising section of you. Please do what you need to do to get you centered and get yourself into a feeling of goodness, of abundance, of happiness, of any place you need, of joy, so that you can have what you say you want to have.
Right. Fantastic. I love the fact that we're ending on a note of joy. A note of joy, right? Because
yes, you know how I love joy.
I'm all about happiness. Yes. So love and happiness.
Yes.
We are just looking forward to seeing the end of 2020 and greeting 2021. We know we won't see you again until the new year. Is that correct?
That's correct, guys.
So guys, and Cecilia says she loves it. We want to say hi to Teresa. How you doing, Teresa? Hope your business is thriving, that you made a shift. If not, give us a call. Let's see how we can help. With that, we want to remind everybody to remember to go to the front of your own line and have a great holiday.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.